There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, we're audioed up now. Um, I'm forgetting the scene switcher doesn't turn the audio back on. So, um, I hope you guys like the new look of the show. Doing it 40K Thursday. I just find these fun overlay to throw up. And then in the background we've got like a 40K background as opposed to. Oh, look it, he's back. That was super quick. Oh, but now you're muted. I can't hear you. You gotta unmute yourself. Okay, he's on the unmuting process. Yeah, right. The UI is looking a little better, a little more 40K themed, a little more appropriate. And you just muted yourself in appear in. Just click the little microphone. You'll unmute yourself. The little pink microphone on your picture. So if you see mic off, it's at the bottom of it. Yeah. Anyway, the UI is what? Huh? Okay, he's working on unmuting himself, but just go ahead and pop out of the room and pop back in. Don't look at it. It's I gotta figure out something. So it's not like anybody cares yet. But yeah. So new UI. Tried to make it look a little more show to talk showy, a little more 40K. We were gonna do lore today, but so we having a special guest for that. So we're gonna do kind of beginner armies. What to look at when you're building a list, like what are gonna be like starter friendly armies and things like that. So yeah. Can we hear you now?
Yes.
Yes, we can. Okay, perfect.
Couldn't unmute, dude. I was spamming the button.
Oh, weird. This is one of the things about free tech. Every once in a while you got to put up with it. No. All right. So, beginner armies is what we're going to try to be doing, like I was just saying, and so this is going to be not necessarily armies that are like that have like simpler tactics, simpler ways to think about playing the game, or have like maybe simpler units, or just have like a kind of a theme that helps bring them all together that makes their playstyle a little more obvious than some other more in-depth armies. Like I would not like Deathwatch. You think it's going to be simple because it's Space Marines, and then all of a sudden you can mix match everything, and then are paralyzed with decision making, and as opposed to something like chaos where you're just like here's a bunch of no, I'm just kidding. That's a chaos blob joke.
Custodes.
Custodes, yeah, they're Grey Knights. You know what they do. They might not do it well, but you know exactly what they do. So, yes, Deathwatch is fucking hard. You've been telling me your struggles there, Hogan Works, and it's been you're painting some beautiful models. I got to say that much, so that's good. Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah, that's very true. So, what would you consider one of the like a good starting army that we can kind of dive into, and why it's simple and kind of what to look for if somebody was wanting to do that starting army?
Sure. So I think the most important thing when it comes to a beginner army and making it easy to use is uh, homogeneous unit profiles.
Oh.
Because if you have too much mixed stats, you're gonna forget. And I've seen this time and time again. People they check their book and it's like, yeah, this is toughness four, right? But it's like if everything in your army is toughness four, you don't have to check ever. You just know that it's toughness four.
That is pretty nice. I know not having to look up like every like Primaris and Marine was a nice change up from Chaos where I was like, I don't know. And having to dive
Yeah.
back to my book and everything. So similar stat blocks is a good place to start. As far as like board positioning and things like that, what would be a good thing to look for a starting army? Do you think?
For a starting army.
Yeah, like
Well,
beginner.
right. It's kind of hard to differentiate between like stuff that's easy for new people to use and what's like stuff that you have to be successful in the game.
I guess that's true.
So like if you were going to take something that you just wanted to learn the game with, probably one of the best things that I could think of is Nurgle Demons, because you just are really hard to kill and then you walk very slowly onto objectives. It's really easy to understand, but that's not necessarily the best thing for a new player to get used to, because then it's not like about positioning onto things and stuff
Yeah.
so much, because you just slowly walk there.
Okay, so I guess what would be the best one to more learn the game and the game mechanics rather than just easiest not to die? Maybe what do you think would be a good army to start like for that sort of thing?
Well, you could just take the cliche answer of Space Marines, where most of their profiles are completely homogenous. Everything is all the same. and they also have a bunch of different units that have a bunch of different tools, like bikes to move around fast, assault units to move around fast. But then you get into the problem of there's a lot of complexity going on.
Yeah.
So it's like, the game kind of goes this way in my experience, where you don't know what's going on, you don't know what's going on, you don't know what's going on, then you just understand everything. So it's like, you know, it kind of just takes a certain amount of games to play, and also asking a lot of questions is really important.
That makes sense. I know I've picked your brain like a million times over a minute, million tiny different things. Uh, it's been pretty nice though, I gotta admit. So,
So I mean, we can talk about
okay, how about
every
we go over kind of one of the big beginner boxes, the one that has the Plague Marines and the Space Marines in it. What's it called? I bought it.
Dark Imperium.
Dark Imperium, yeah. So Dark Imperium is clearly meant to be kind of like a starter box, and let's we could kind of go through what's in that and what's in why they kind of put those there and what you can learn by playing the Dark Imperium
Sure,
box.
sure. I think that this is probably the best starter box we've had in, well, at least in my gaming experience with 40K, because I mean, I haven't been playing for that long, but the last one was Dark Vengeance, which had bikes and cultists and a hell brute and terminators and guys, normal guys. And so it's like there's a lot of stuff going on there.
Sounds like more like treats for veteran players rather than a starter
Yeah,
box.
kinda. Oh, and chosen Chaos Marines instead of normal Chaos Marines. So
Of
it's like
course.
they have a bunch of different weapons, and it's a bit of a mess. I think that the new box is way better, and Primaris are super easy to understand. Everything's like exactly the same. You don't even get different weapons in the units. It's like this unit does this, done and done.
Yeah, they don't
Right.
even
So
have
you
a
got,
melee weapon. They're like, this is what melee does. Do it.
yeah, yeah. Now they've added some complexity to intercessors with the ability to take weapons on the sergeants and like the auxiliary grenade launchers. But it's, well, and also the different gun options, but they're not really that different. So it's, I think they're really easy to play with and understand.
Hell yeah. And then
Uh,
go ahead,
and
sorry.
then Plague Marines, I mean, same thing. They have the same profiles. Obviously, there's zombies in the box as well, right? And that kind of complicates things a little bit. But I mean,
At least they're
they
relatively
they just
simple.
don't, right. They don't do anything.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
They shamble forward and die on people and bring the people they killed back as zombies if you can get a big enough cluster to.
If they kill anybody, like, come
That's the thing.
on.
Well, if anything dies within a certain radius of them. So basically, you get them close to something, shoot it with other things. So it's like it's in that death range and just have this big squishy shoot ball.
You're gonna confuse people because
That's
that's a
true.
stratagem. That's not on their profile.
That's true.
On their profile, they have to kill stuff in melee.
Yeah, so they'll take a bunch of shots for your other units so that they can actually fire and do stuff later. Let's see. So it has the Poxwalkers. Then it has the oh, what the heck is his name?
I
The
think it's
axe wielder guy. Because
Poxwalkers,
Poxwalkers,
Plague
Plague
Marines,
Marines,
guy with bell who just buffs your movement. Well,
and
also the Premier
Warlord.
side has the banner, which adds some complexity, but
That's true.
I mean, you only have to remember the one thing, right? Well, two things, right? Your captain and your banner slash bell guy, and that's like it. But right. So you got your Plague Marines, your Poxwalkers, your bell guy, and your HQ. Isn't that it?
Bell guy. Yeah. Oh God, I'm trying to remember the names of
The
them.
big old
Oh
boy.
man, I already knew this. Oh, and then the sorcerer, or is he in the
Oh yeah,
box?
the
Yeah,
malignant plague
malignant
caster
plague
is in the
caster.
box as well.
Yes, here we go.
So Death Guard actually has a lot of characters. The Primaris side's better for new players. Also, Primaris look really good and they're really easy to paint. So if you're new, you should just get Primaris.
I
They're
completely agree with
awesome.
that. They are just a
They're great. They're
badass intro.
fantastic.
Let's see, what was the name of it? Let's see, malignant plague class caster, and for those
Is
wondering,
the
it's this
audio any
guy.
better now that I moved the mic, people in chat?
Oh, I turned you up. Actually, you're good.
Oh, you turned me up?
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, you should be in. They'll
Well,
let
my
us know.
my efforts are completely fruitless.
No, not necessarily. So yeah, the noxious blight bringer, I believe, is the bell ringer. Yeah,
That sounds right.
and then where the hell is the other guy? I feel like I missed him. 'Cause you should be
The
able.
diseaser having diseases.
The
That's the
extra
name of that
disease,
guy.
bro. Lord of Contagion. That's what it was. Yeah. So, but all of them, I think, are kind of an interesting mix as far as because they each represent kind of a basic idea in the game. You have um, your infantry, your kind of guys who do big lump of things that shoot at things that are and Primaris side they're a little more survivable with 2 wounds, whereas the poxwalkers just have a single wound. And then you have people with auras that affect things around them, and then so that'll be the Primaris side. The captain, the plague, the banner bearer, and then as far as the uh, you know Nurgle Marines, they get basically the similar thing where they have auras and things to deal with, and then they have one spellcaster who can cast a few spells and
Who can cast spells?
buff your
A
dudes,
spellcaster who can cast spells.
as opposed to the one who can't. You know that guy. Oh man,
Yeah, I think the box is really good starting set for people, especially the Primaris side.
for real.
Uh,
They
the
Primaris has
Death Guard
the
side has a few too many characters
I don't know the
for my taste.
Primaris has interceptors. That'll teach you about deep striking.
Yeah, and they're also toughness 5, which complicates things a
Yeah.
little bit. But it's right.
Oh, nothing's perfect.
Well, plus the where the game really shines is taking advantage of all your special rules in combination. That's what the game is.
This is true. Oh man, so starter box. So we got starter armies. We got basically what they put in the starter box of Plague Marines. Yeah, Death Guard, I should say, not Plague Marines. Death Guard and Primaris, Space Marines, both codices. It's really funny since the background's green. Like when I held this up last time, like I had one of the pictures up. I was gonna show people, and then it was like see through. It was ridiculous. Oh, it's not that one. Dang it. Okay, maybe it was this guy. Go clear. Nothing. Ah, come on. Of course, when I point it out, it doesn't want to do it.
Now
But
you look like a damned fool.
like a fool, I tell you, a fool. And then Primary Space Marines, this will be their codex. The codices, they'll have all of the more intricate rules and everything like that. But the nice thing about the box is it actually comes with the basic rule sheets for the characters and everything you have. So you don't have to worry about diving into stratagems or anything like that real soon. So you can kind of enjoy playing each army and figure out what kind of flavor you like a little bit more. As far as their rules, their strategies without going into stratagems or anything like that. Their play styles. How would you describe them and why they complement being a newer player? And get me some
They
nachos
mostly just
now. No.
shoot. They mostly just shoot people with bolt guns, and mid-ranged guns. Nothing super complicated there. It's easy to understand.
It's true. Yeah, basically, it's like if it's like learning checkers before you get the chess pieces. Like it's
Yeah,
not. So you get the basics of movement, basics of firing. Learning your phases is actually a huge thing in this game. Like remembering because for a long time
true.
I rocked I had like this little cheat sheet where it's like this phase, then this phase, then this phase, then this phase, and so learning the phases of the game and what you can do on each phase. These starter armors will definitely help you with immensely. And actually, they have a decent like nearly 500 points apiece if I'm right? Like that sounds maybe
It
a little
sounds
more.
right.
It
It
sounds
might
about
be
500.
more.
Yeah, maybe even closer to
Well,
1500
because 5
or
Hellblasters
closer to
is
1000.
165 points.
Yeah, and there's Hellblasters in that
And is
box.
there's 10 intercessors? Is that
Yeah, 10 intercessors, 5
so? That's
Hellblasters.
180 points plus 165 is 345 already, and then
Yeah,
you got a
so
captain, and he's like 115, and so
yeah,
that's like 455, and then you have the Inceptors, which costs 39 each, I think,
yeah.
maybe
There's
something like that.
if you don't upgrade them to
They're
plasma.
about 90
Yeah,
points, so
about
yeah, it's like 500 points
yeah. So and then
plus the banners, like 600 points.
there you go. So it gives you a nice actual starting army for like you could even take your little starter box to events and kind of learn a little bit about you know how to do that. I wouldn't
Going to
recommend it.
events is a Going to events is a great way to learn things.
It is actually the well, that's one thing I got to say about the Warhammer community that I wasn't expecting is everybody I met was super nice. It's actually kind of good scene as far as people wanting to help other people learn and get other people into the hobby because you can't play against anybody if nobody's learning.
Yeah. Well, also, if I'm being 100% honest completely, at any event, no matter the size, basically, if you lose your first game, everybody's just going to be really nice the rest of the event. Right?
It's true.
If you if you're like trashing people, then you'll come across people who really, really want to win to the point that they'll be rude. So, I mean,
I guess
and
that's
this
true.
isn't, that's also not like the norm, but like, you're not going to find that person if you're uh, 0-2 at a 3 round event,
That is
typically.
that is fair. Very fair, actually. Yeah, I think that's why everybody was so nice to me because I was not winning. I would have won that last game if we could have played faster. I still believe that.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I killed his
Yeah,
knight
you
and all
hecked
his.
him up.
I got his knight and all his sisters and everything, but I chose the wrong point makers.
So, Mockery of Life wants us to talk about orcs, and we've been ignoring him for
Oh really?
probably 15 minutes.
Oh, so
So,
orcs, good starter.
what do you think about orcs?
I think orcs, on the base, they look like a good starter to me because they do have a lot of. You can play them as a simpler army, but they are actually, once you get to know the army, they can be immensely complex from everything that I've been talking about with Hogan Works about his orc army. So it's basically you can start simple, and the more things you add, the more crazy and complicated you can get it until you have like this fucking crazy stitched together army that is made of all these different aspects of it. So it's basically you can run it complex or you can or sorry, you can run it simple or you can build it into this complex crazy fun monster to play with.
Yeah,
And
I think that's pretty fair.
yeah.
Orcs work a lot like a clock, where a clock can be really complicated, or a clock can just turn, and that's it. Uh, I played against. I recently played at a pretty heavily comped event, so it was 1,000 points. It was a team event with 1,000 points per player, so 2,000 points per side. But it was limited to patrol detachments, and also you couldn't duplicate units unless they were troops. So I played against this orc army that had a weird boy, uh,
I will say
war boss on bike. It's called something else now. There's no war boss on bike in the book,
oh
but it's the war boss on bike. It's called like a kill trike or something, and then like a blob of 30 boys and a blob of 20 boys in like a battle wagon and a bone breaker battle wagon and
okay.
a shock buggy thingy. And it's like it's just like a bunch of random crap, but it all works the same way and it all works together really nicely. And I think that's something about orcs that's really nice is you just put out your stuff and then it goes forward and kills things.
Apparently it's
It's
the Deaf Killer War Trike. I gotta admit, the orcs have the most charming ass names of anything. It's super hard not like even talking about orcs, you're like, we're gonna run, we're gonna crumb from the shock jump dragster. They just have this fucking kind of goofy ass charm to them that I love about the orcs. And I'd say that part of them is really easy to get into.
yeah, I think they're fun. I also think that it's nice
Yep.
that you can just play as many boys as you want and they'll do things. Especially since they're like basically immune to morale and they'll crump anything they get what's in close combat.
See, it's impossible not to do. I swear to God. But and that is the thing. They are, like I said, simple but complex, and it's really been interesting to watch uh, Jeff's army grow as it because he started out with he just was getting back into it, and he's like, but he didn't want to do the billion boy army, and so he got a bunch of mechs and everything, and then when the codec dropped, it was like everything that he putting it basically all the pieces together for him, which was really cool to see because I know this was that was their codex was one of the most recent, I guess, other than Gene Stealer Cult just came out. We have the which Gene Stealers are a whole nother thing, but yeah, orcs. I think they're a really good starting army because you can almost infinitely grow them into complexity as you learn the game. So, although painting them is a little tricky. Like they
I
got they
also
got a lot
think
of flesh and colors and layers as whereas Primaris you're like, it's green. No, that's what I do.
they're pretty nice for a starter army as well because the codex is internal balance, which is the idea that the units are about equally powerful.
Hmm.
The internal balance is really good. So it's like no matter what you buy, if you just buy random crap,
Yeah.
which is what brand new players typically do, it's like, oh, this is cool, and they buy it, and then it's like, this is cool, and they buy it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But like, it's nice when you can play with your stuff that you just bought randomly because you liked it.
That is true. I mean, that's one thing. So, who do you think has a? I think maybe that was the problem with Chaos is it does not have a good codec balance, in my opinion. Like, things are wildly better than other things, and things are near. There's things in here that are near useless, in my opinion. Like right now, like they're just so expensive and don't do nearly enough. I mean, it's
Mutilators,
mutilator.
Chaos Spawn.
Chaos Space Marines themselves are nearly useless in a Chaos Space Marines codec. Come on, still gets me.
They're better for filling out battalions now because they changed the bolter rule.
Yeah, well, they changed the bolter reel, and then they made cultists more expensive, which really helped out Chaos a lot because they were
Hey,
winning so much. No, yeah,
theoretically, it helped the internal balance of the book, right? Because if the good things are worse, then the book's more balanced internally.
it is hard to argue, and a very good point with you. Oh man, okay, so part of the joys of 40k Thursday every week, where Ty works into somewhere, he's frustrated with chaos.
It
um,
wasn't even my fault. You brought it up.
oh, that's what I said. Ty works in, like that was me. I was
Oh, I thought you
calling.
said Todd.
No,
We
no, I
have the
was
same name, dude.
calling myself out. The amount of times I get called Todd a day because I work on phones, like, hi, this is Ty. Is it Todd? No, it's Ty. Ty. Tyler?
That's funny because nobody will call me my name.
Really? What do they call you? You get like Rod?
Anything. Tom, Rod, Tyler as well, Trevor, Travis.
Trevor. They're just like adding syllables onto your name. It's like it's a
Yeah,
one
so
syllable name. Come on, people.
my
I get Mike somehow. There's an I in there. I guess they're like, Ty? Oh, you're Mike, right?
people will make fun of me because they feel like I scream at people at the restaurant my name because I just try to enunciate as much as possible.
Todd, with two
Yeah,
D's.
Todd. They're like, why'd you yell at that nice old lady? And it's like
Yeah.
she didn't hear me.
See, I'm lucky. I got two syllables, so I constantly just go, it's Ty, Ty, and then done. All right, back to 40k.
You could just
So,
say Tyrellius, the smelliest, and
yep,
nobody would get it wrong.
such a great nickname. Love it, bastard. um, One thing I was thinking about, so as far as beginning armies, so we talked about Primaris a little bit, kind of orcs. As far as armies that I'm familiar with, Tyranids, they seem like they would be a beginner armor, but they actually, once you get into them, they're really not. With the amount of things that you'd have to remember with like their, their neural links, the synapses, and things like that, the different weapon profiles that you can choose when you're building them. I think
Yeah.
they actually are one of those that seem like it's just an easy swarm to put together, but an actual watching, somebody play with it, it does seem like those are a more complex army. So I would stay away from. Do you agree? Stay away from Tyranids.
Well, I think that it's well. I
Or I
don't
mean,
agree with staying away from
sorry,
anything.
not
If
stay
that's the
away
thing
from,
that you want to
but
do, it's
be
the thing
be
you want to do.
conscious of
But
the complexity, I guess.
yeah, I agree. In that, I think that one has the same problem as I initially described, where there's too many unit profiles. There's just like way too many options there,
Makes sense.
and
Um,
way too much stuff to remember when you're playing. People are like, "I'm gonna shoot this. What's its toughness?" And then you're like, nobody likes that. No, nobody does. That's just a fact.
it's true. And Jeff's pointing out that you can build a variety of Tyranid armies, from swarms to giant to gun lines to monsters. So they're also, you kind of have to build towards the army you have in mind, rather than like the orcs where you're like, I like that thing, I'm gonna figure out a way and throw it in there.
Right.
um,
I
Now,
think that's pretty cool about bugs that they can do all those things.
it is a really awesome army. Actually, I was watching Jeff put together his bugs and playing with them, and then I started like flipping through the codex, and I was like, "This is awesome." And that's one thing I will say. If you're kind of on the fence about getting into 40k or something, definitely buy a codex, because not only are they beautiful books with a lot of lore and has all the weapon profiles and stuff that you need, but has gorgeous art. It'll also help you get kind of excited for the armies and stuff that you're going to be playing, and give you kind of an idea of more of the personality of the game. So, and not only that, I mean, you'll have a book. Who hates having books? I mean, come on.
Well, but like we're not sponsored by Games Workshop or anything.
Not yet.
You
You fucking
you
get your
can
attitude
go
in line.
ahead. You can go ahead and Johnny Depp a codex if you catch on to what I'm saying. You can
Oh, we already recommended
Johnny
Battle
Depp a
Scribe.
codex. You could Barbosa a codex if that's what you feel like you want to do.
Dude, your
and check
subtlety
it out.
is off the chain. I think.
I'm not encouraging any crime of any sort.
So you better not on this show. Oh man, not on your own show. You wouldn't do that, would you?
This is a Christian Minecraft server. I wouldn't encourage crime on my show.
Oh man. All right. So well, like I said, the books themselves, you have a book. Oh no. Um, so as far as I haven't had a lot of even interaction with Necron armies, but they do seem a little more homogenous than others. Is that true? So that would be kind of a good starting army to look at. I mean, it'd be a good starting painting army for sure. You just fucking silver, null oil, done. No,
Well, that poor army doesn't have very many options. So
really?
I think that it's yeah, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 units.
That's it.
17 units. I forgot
17,
one.
17 units. Okay, so that
Yeah, I'm
might be a
pretty
good
sure it's 17 units.
might be a good starter army, but you quickly get frustrated as you played the more. It sounds like, unless you were like really into it and um, damn, really, that is such a small amount of. I guess they're not a large faction in the 40K universe, but still, seems
Yeah.
a little
Oh,
small.
just kidding. I forgot a few. It's like 20 units.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a little more reasonable then. So have you played a lot of Necrons at all, or do you have an experience? Like, what can you tell us about them as far as if you were looking at it to get started?
Um, their troops are like their biggest strength. There were some good Necron armies at LVO. Is that what you're telling me? I don't think I saw those, but
I never
that
said
could
that.
be.
Oh, really? Oh, wait. Jeff did. He was actually watching it the whole time. So he was watching as armies kind of rose and fell. So there might have been a Necron army that kind of peaked up there, like that one Chaos Blob army shown for a second, and then was just nowhere in the top 10 at the end. So I think he's going to be looking up that Necron army at LVO because it's the thing is, I best part is whatever sparks joy, is good for you to keep or go and pursue. But like, hold on, oh, my wife just laughed because I made a joke off of the silly show she watches. Love, bring me food. There's Chinese in the fridge. Okay, fine.
Well, I can't look at the lists because LVO was too long ago now.
Well, weird. Oh, that is super strange. I found it very kind of
Because
weird that they didn't publish the lists from LVO. I mean,
well, they want
they don't want you to Google it and just build the army there. I get that,
no,
I
no, no.
guess.
They don't give a shiz about that. They just want you to pay for their premium Best Coast Pairings app membership, and then you can look at the results of any tournament. But if you don't have the premium app, you can only look 3 days back or something like that, or
Wait,
any
what?
event that you played in. Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
But like, I mean, I've seen a few Necron armies that do okay, and it seems like it's always a combination of like big Wraith unit, big Destroyer unit, and then a few units of troops, and then they're just trying really hard to get stuff done with their big Wraith unit and their big Destroyer unit. It's pretty one dimensional. Oh wait, I think I saw a list that had triple Doomsday Arc, which is they have a big cannon
Yeah,
thing,
I think it's cool looking.
the upside down boat, and that's
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. I didn't expect to see that. I actually do think I remember reading that list for LVO though, and maybe that's the one that you're talking about. Maybe it isn't. I don't. Not a mind reader, but it seems like Necrons are okay. That's
Oh yeah, there is. Right as you said it, he was typing it in chat of the three crazy things. That's yeah. So Necron's probably a good starting armory for simplicity as far as tactics and units to
yeah.
learn and painting because, like I said, they are dead simple to paint. It looks like, but really hard to get absolutely perfect because a good Necron army should have this nice glow to it in between the lines and everything. But you don't have to take it that far if you don't want to. So
You can
let's
use this magical thing called washes,
the washes
and
are
then
so
you can do that anyway.
beautiful.
It's easy.
Yes, Necrons are the 40k undead. For those of you not familiar with Necrons, I guess we should explain. They're these basically metal skeleton-looking dudes who are basically in charge of everything a long time ago and woke up to a bunch of people fucking their shit up and decided to go kill everyone so that way they could go back to sleep. Is that kind of a good overview of the Necrons, you think?
They had a grudge match with the 40k Slann because the 40k Slann lived forever, and the Necrons only lived for a short time. So they wanted the secrets of immortality, and so they went up to the old ones, and they were like, "Yo, peek me those secrets, fam." And the old ones were like, "No." And then the Necrons are like, and so they declared war on him, and they were trying to hack him up. And apparently, they had really advanced technology, which doesn't make any sense for a species that has short lifespans. But
Maybe they're just
whatever.
more motivated. You don't know them.
True. And so they fought the old ones for a while, and then they weren't winning how they wanted to. And they met this other race called the Catan, and the Catan knew the secrets of immortality.
I've always read it as Saitan. I don't know why. Catan. That's where people settle. So settlers.
I think it's Catan, like
I thought.
Cthulhu, because
Oh,
it's C apostrophe. So
I guess that's
Catan.
true. That does make more sense. It's, you know, when you read something and like a million times, you never really think about how it's pronounced. I just had that moment. All right, so yeah, then they fought the settlers of Catan, and what happened?
Well, they teamed up with the settlers of Catan to beat the old ones. They killed all the old ones, and then they realized right at the end that the Catan were just going to permanently enslave them.
Oh shit!
And so they built these super doomsday weapons to destroy the Catan, and they did. Even though the Catan are gods, they shot them with these lasers, and they burst into pieces. And that's what
Damn.
the shards of Catan are. Now the Catan are enslaved by the Necrons, and they
Mind
basically
blast.
walked into furnaces and destroyed their bodies and got their consciousness transformed into the robots that they are now.
Man.
But a lot of the
So,
leaders of the Necrons are really sad that they gave up their souls.
something got there's a retcon because they used to be. I think. See, this is why Jeff. He
The
said there's.
Catan used to be in charge of them
Oh
a couple
really?
editions ago.
Is
Yeah,
that
now
what
they
happened? They were dominated, and then they changed from that for some reason. Okay.
somebody told me that it was recently retconned, so they didn't attack the old ones because they were immortal as well. They
Had other
so
reasons.
I don't know what like the current lore is. That's just the lore that I read in the 7th edition book, and
Okay.
that's all I know.
That's okay. What what? That's you don't know absolutely everything about everything that I ask you. How dare you? No.
No, in fact, I barely know anything.
Oh, me too. Same seas. No. um.
No, there's way more than the 3 Catan. It's just they only have 3 Catan in the book, I think. And also there are like multiple of the same Catan because they're Catan shards. So like there's the shard of the Nightbringer, but then there's like a bunch of shards of the Nightbringer.
Oh, weird. Dragon Outsider, the Jester Bastard. Okay, so this is for those of you who are curious, like, unlike this part of the stuff, we're gonna have Hogan Works, who's been blowing up chat with all of the lore. We're gonna do a lore cast with him, and it's gonna be fantastic when we get to it. Um, but so Necron's probably a decent starting army. Is there anything that you would kind of warn to learn a little bit more before diving into, or make sure you're ready for a complex? Okay, basically, what are some more complex armies that might not suit either beginners or somebody who doesn't want to get into an army that's super complex right away? Because I know.
I think there's stuff that's harder to use and there's stuff that's easier to use, but if you decide that you want to play something and you're just going to read all your rules and remember them, then you're going to be in good shape. But like if you want to play something that's really easy and it just stays really easy, you could play something like
We got Tal in the chat.
Knights
Knights.
because you only have to move 3 models and they all have the same profile basically, and then you just walk around and kill stuff.
Speaking
Or
of mechs.
yeah, or custodes because they all basically have the same exact profile. Every single one has a 2-up armor and a 4-up invuln or better invuln, depending.
They sound like I can't tell if they sound like fun to play or a nightmare to play because they sound like either
Hey, Nightmare to play? You gonna play Knights?
The Grey Nightmare.
Don't play
No,
Grey Knights. You'll
no,
just lose and you won't like the game.
no. Yeah, not until they get a new codex. I was actually considering because I like the models and they have kind of a neat look, but like they uh they just aren't doing well right now.
They suck. You just won't like the game if you play them.
That's true. And then Jeff is an adamant hater of custodes, and so he just threw the alarm out in chat. So
A lot of fluff people hate the Custodes for good reason.
yeah,
So
I mean, and I can definitely see their
I think
fluff
it's
is
shat on a lot of well-established fluff, like 20-year-old fluff.
there's one weird thing about playing a game that like there's a good thing where the story continues and keeps evolving and you get different things and it's fun and awesome like that. But that is also the downside is the same person's not going to be in charge of the story for the entire time. So occasionally things change and not for the better
So
sometimes.
occasionally you get Matt Ward, who says that Drago kills everybody instantly, basically.
Oh, how? That doesn't even. I don't.
There's a story about Drago 1v1ing Mortarion and carving his name into Mortarion's heart.
Drago. Am I thinking of
Keldor Drago, Grand Master of the Grey Knights.
Ooh, damn, we got some hate. The devil apparently is that guy. The reason
But
Ultra Smurf sucks so much. Wow,
now that
that's
there's
a big ass cock.
now that there's no Matt Ward though, Drago is pretty cool. I like Drago.
Oh yeah, did he get like put into a good place?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like this guy's really badass, but not like over the top badass.
Like he's not gonna march into Carving is not a Mortarion.
Yeah, and he cleaned up Nurgle's garden at the same time.
By himself?
Yeah.
Okay, yep, Matt Ward.
He also
read his
lives in the
stories, but
warp
great
because
guy.
of some curse that he has. And he can only pop out when there's a demonic incursion to fight alongside the Grey Knights.
Oh my god. Justicar Ariak for the Grey Knights, like 5 books of that character. Oops, caps off. He's asking, where's Justicar? Looks like, yeah,
I don't
Ariak
know.
for the Grey Knights. He's just missing now. And now they have lives in Demon Town that corrupts the shit out of everybody who goes into it and just comes out to play when the demons come out to play.
Also, he's like one of the only guys that can actually
Alaric.
kill demons. Because if you kill demons in the warp, they actually die. I think is
Pretty nice.
at least that was the old lore. I don't know if that's the lore now, but like I can only do my best. So
That's fair.
since he lives in the warp, he was one of the only people that could actually kill demons because they would die, go to the warp, then he could kill them there, and then they're dead.
Damn, okay. That's pretty legit, I guess. So yeah, don't play Grey Knights. That's not your beginning. No matter what skill level you're playing right now, it's just not a good idea.
I've kicked it around for masochistic reasons.
Just to see if you could.
Yeah, I have some Grey Knights.
I knew you would. You should totally do it. It'll be amazing. Let's see.
Losing is awesome, especially if you do it a whole bunch.
It's my favorite. That's why I play. No. So as far as I know, a lot of the Eldar armies, they are pretty complex as far as things that you can put together and things like that. But if an overall arc of it, do they get complex in a way that you can start simple and build, or does it kind of just start complex and you gotta learn from the codex up?
I feel like anything you can play simply, but it's like, are you really getting the flavor of the army? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess play simply well and feel like you're playing that army, not just reducing it down. Like orcs, you feel like orcs when you're
Yeah,
playing.
your army's still an orc army, even if
Yeah.
you only have 90 boys, and
Exactly.
it definitely feels like orcs.
That's one of the reasons Chaos Space Marines is frustrating, because I feel like I'm playing a Chaos Cultist army. It just gets.
It just gets lit. It's like off the chain hook. Is
Oh
that
yeah,
what?
that's it.
Yeah.
That's what this
Once
means.
once you put down your 90th cultist, you're like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's that. Oh, that's that Chaos Space Marine ish.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen some more simple Eldar armies, and I've seen turbo competitive Eldar armies, and I guess I'm just not sure how well the flavors communicated
Okay.
at the more simple level. I mean, obviously, like Guardians and Wave Serpents is about as simple as it gets, and that'd be pretty easy to play, and it wouldn't be complete garbage. So I guess that's my answer there. You can
Okay.
put Guardians and Wave Serpents, and you'll do okay.
That makes sense. Let's see. Now, let's see. I'm trying to think of other good like starter armories or anything like that.
Well, I think, I mean,
I
I've
guess.
been
How about? I
beating
guess.
around this idea, but it's like
Yeah.
you can start with any army. You'd just be playing the army very simply. It's kind of like how much work you have to put in to really unlock the army. You know what I mean? Like, uh,
Yeah.
the deeper it is, the harder it'd be to really unlock what's going on. Or like orcs, stuff like orcs. It's like it's all there. It's all unlocked without working too hard. And like what's being said in the chat, you have to handle psychers to make Eldar the Eldariest, and also they have 24 powers. So like there's some decisions to be made there, I guess.
That's a
Uh,
that's an obscene amount of powers.
yeah, but something that's really nice about Eldar for newer players is they're really fast, so you don't have to think like 5 turns ahead. Like if you're moving a 4-inch move Nurgle Terminator, you have to think ahead to get it where you want it to go. Where an Eldar unit, like their slowest stuff moves 8 inches, I think. Or it might be 7.
That's pretty
But then you
good.
can advance, and then it's like, oh, you move 14 inches. That's like a good percentage of the board. You can just move on to objectives as soon as you decide, oh, hey, the game is based on objectives. So, it's like, that's pretty easy. Fast stuff makes your life a lot easier as a player. Slow stuff is harder to use, but it's generally tankier, which makes your life easier as a player. So
Okay.
there's that, I guess.
There's always that. So, oh man, this is what happens when I was trying to think of other good things to talk about. Do you think do you want to try to dive into doing any of the LVO lists, some of the new releases, or anything like that? Because we did get a few new releases recently.
Yeah, they showed some new stuff, but no rules or anything for that yet.
That's true. For those of you who have missed it, I'm gonna go and pull it up real quick. There is this new guy. He looks amazing. So he is what do they call him? Uh,
Greater possessed.
Greater Possessed. That's what it was. I was like, it was Possessed, but it's yeah. So this is the new Greater Possessed model. This is another part of the drop of the new upcoming Black or not Blackstone Fortress. What are they calling this one?
Shadow spear.
Shadow Spear. Yeah. So the Shadow Spear. I'll go ahead and bring it up so that way you guys can all see what I'm talking about. The Shadow Spear. If you'll see right here, it's this new crazy ass box that looks like it's going to be super amazing. But some of the models that they've shown from it so far are the Lord of the Demonkin, who is just this flaming jump pack having amazing sorcerer looking dude. But hopefully he doesn't suffer from the last jump pack guy that we got. And then yeah, the Greater Possessed, and then what was the they also had this like weird like mech thing that was pretty
Obliterators.
good. Oh yeah, new obliterators, which are fantastic. Oh my god, there's actually a video.
And the poison crawler thing.
Yeah, the poison crawler. It looks like this giant like
Venom
spider
crawler.
venom crawler.
Venom crawler, I
Venom
think.
crawler, yeah. And then so we got some new interesting models coming out, but we don't have rules for them yet. Also, yeah, here's the concept art for the venom crawler. Thing looks sick. Um, Also, there's gonna be the War Master is coming, which is I think a pretty big deal for everybody.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Um, let's see. Oh, there's a thing that coming out. Okay, so they released this model recently. It's called the Amble, and it's part of Blackstone Fortress, and it looks like they said you can add it to like almost anything. But now there's gonna be an Ambot. It's this amazing like shambling It looks like the Amble, only a robot, and it's part of Necromunda. What is now Ret Necromunda? If people are looking at things, what would Necromunda mean to them?
Necromunda is kill team, but older and a little bit more complicated. It's a little skirmish game, but it's like it's designed to be played in these cute little campaigns where like you run your gang and your gang gets more money as you fight against other gangs and take over territory like mines and stuff, and then you mine from your mine and you get money to spend on gangsters and guns and stuff. And
So it's kind of more of a narrative-based game.
yeah, yeah, and like little campaigns, kind of like it's got some RPG stuff going on.
Sounds like it might be actually kind of fun.
Yeah, it sounds turbo fun, but it's hard to get people to commit to stuff like that.
That one's a tough one because it does sound like getting the proper models and everything ready for the game would be a little not the price point of entry might be a little high for
Yeah.
a lot of people. We'll put it that way.
Plus, getting people to, especially gamers, to commit to like showing up to something every
Ugh.
X number of days. That's hell, and I'm sure everybody's had this experience. It's
Oh yeah.
pretty relatable, I think.
So the just curious, have you read up anything about the Amble or what it is, or
I know that it's an alien
it's an alien?
and
Okay.
it eats people.
He comes with some little.
He's very sneaky. He can sneak.
Look at this guy.
It's a really cute model. I like it a lot.
He's a big. He also is like shedding like little larvae out of him. Now that I look at him a little closer, and he comes with some little baby larvae that can attack things. They look like they have wings too. Oh man, these things are awesome. Okay.
Yeah, these models are so cool.
I just love these new chaos stuff. I'm really excited about the obliterators. It's about DM time because they were just so far behind. But in my opinion, I don't know. What do I know? I haven't been playing for nearly as long as everybody else. So, but let's see. So beginner armies. I guess we've kind of gone through almost every army and why, what makes it, what would appeal to new players, what would not appeal to people not looking for like anything more complex. Like, are there any armies you feel like I'm forgetting as far as like take into consideration when looking at starting the hobby?
I mean, I think there are a few things that you need to think about when you're getting into the game. What you think looks cool is the most important thing.
I can 10 out of 10 agree with that actually.
You want to buy stuff that makes you look cool. Well, that you think looks cool. I mean, obviously you want to look cool too, but that's kind of irrelevant. You can't. You live in your mother's basement.
Hey, you
The
leave
second
us
one.
alone.
The second one is if you. I mean, if you're a gamer, then you want to make sure that your selected army, corresponds with what you want it to do. If you want to be a choppy boy, and you think Tau looks cool, I mean, it might be important to reconsider
Gonna
some
have a
things
bad
because
time.
yeah, Tau are not a choppy boy army.
I guess we didn't really
I
talk
don't think
about
that Tau is a good starter army because they have way too many mixed profiles. I don't think that any unit in their army has the same profile as any other unit. They all have different. It's like completely Mad Lib's random toughness values and strength values, and they have a billion different types of guns. And also marker lights are reasonably complicated. Like not super complicated, obviously, but there's the ability to fall in a pit there by shooting the wrong thing with marker lights, then trying to shoot with whatever, and then you've hosed yourself. Yeah, I don't think that it's a very easy army to play. I mean, you could just play like 3 Riptides, and then you're kind of
shoot everything.
yeah. Yeah, plus you got 3 big mechs. You know what? I'm changing my mind. Tau is the best starter army. Just buy 3 Riptides.
Buy 3 Riptides, good to go.
Hot to trot.
Oh man, and then so finding something that appeals to you aesthetically as
Yeah.
rule one, and then what would we consider like the step after that if you have like
Corresponds with how you want to play the game.
Perfect, yeah, choppy, shooty,
So,
chargy,
yeah.
psychic-y,
Something that
undying.
you This kind of goes with looks, obviously, but something where the lore resonates with you because, I mean, if you think Tau looks cool and you like to shoot things, but you hate communism and you hate commies and like you can't even fathom the idea of playing with a communist army, then you don't want to pick Tau. I mean, like, I hate commies, but I think that Tau's pretty cool because like like bad guys are cool and but like you have to make sure that you've got some understanding of what's going on with your army and that you enjoy that in some respect or another from the lore standpoint.
That makes sense. Apparently, he likes Tab. Whenever he reads about them, they're getting squashed. He
Y-
gets hard. So
Yeah, but like if you play with your army and you like when they die, it's a win-win because you either kill stuff or you die and get hard, right? So
there you go.
I'm seeing no downside. I think you should
Yeah.
sell all your stuff and buy Tau.
Just be
Yeah,
hard all the
yeah,
time.
yeah. Why not? I mean,
110% of the time.
stop. I can only get so erect, right? It's just
Oh man. All right.
go for it. Follow your
Oh,
dreams.
IG. What do you think about them as far as Imperial Guard? Used to be known as Astra Militarum. Uh, strength and weaknesses if you're looking to visit them as a beginner army. Which is how we should have just been doing this conversation the whole time. And now that I finally thought of a way to properly phrase it.
Yeah, good point. Good point. IG, it's good. There's like a bunch of mixed profiles as far as like different tanks and things go. So maybe it's not. I mean, it's about as complex as Tau with orders and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of decisions of what making what to shoot where, a lot of orders, a lot of stratagems, a lot of use of command points,
Well,
or
but
you
like
could just put a group of
they don't have any good stratagems, which is nice
oh, that's
because
fine.
you don't have to worry about using stratagems because none of them are that good. So it's just like
So
heck it.
you just put them together with a knight and call it a day.
Yeah, and then you spam all the stratagems on the night. Yeah.
There you go. Let's see. I feel like I don't know if we're getting pop open the 8th edition rule book. All right, so I guess I bitched about chaos, but what do you think about chaos? Strengths and weaknesses as a beginner army. Just or no, actually, not. Let's do Dust Marines, Thousand Suns.
Uh, they don't have very many units either, and they have to do a lot of psychic powers. So they don't have a shiz load of options. But yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think if you pick the wrong spells, you're kind of in a bad spot.
Okay.
But the more I talk about this, the more I feel like if
Oh
you
yeah.
understand what makes your army unique by talking to people and what your army does well, and then you focus on that stuff, you're going to be good no matter what army you pick. You
Oh
can
yeah.
start
We're
with any army.
we're
The
definitely
game
going
is
with kind
also
of
so simple that it's like yeah, it's not it's once you figure out what your army does and make sure that you know what your army does, you're in good shape.
okay. Yeah, this is gonna be kind of like a just. I know this is, and this isn't like a. This is more like just like a generalization. Yeah, we like clearly. This is one of the best parts about this game is you can make anything magical and win a game with it. Um,
Yeah.
but let me
Well, I just want to make sure that my fans, the fans of my show, know that they can play any army they want as long as they believe in themselves
believe in
and
the
their
heart of the
army's
models.
strengths. Yes. As long as they're willing to sell their soul and soup up their Imperium army as much as possible.
Oh man.
As long as you're
Soup.
willing to
Okay.
buy 16 assassins and Gilliman.
Actually, could you kind of explain souping for people who's not familiar with that?
So souping is something I don't know if soup is like a derogatory term. To me it isn't. I don't think it's bad. I think it's fine for the game.
Yeah.
But it's when you ally in things that you are allowed to ally in. So like any Imperium army can take detachments of any other Imperium army, and it's fine. It's legal in the rules, and any Chaos army can just take detachments of any other Chaos army, and it's just fine and dandy in the rules, and you use it to shore up the weaknesses of your army or accentuate the strengths of your army.
Oh man, I've been definitely looking at souping for chaos lately because demons are so much stronger than I realized. That and taking advantage of the Death Guard models that I have, and looking for an excuse to buy some Thousand Suns. Um, okay, Gene Stealer Cult. Next army you're looking at as far as what you'd be looking at for strengths and weaknesses as a beginning army. I mean, you got some pretty awesome looking models. So I can definitely see people wanting to get that alien hybrid amazingness on the field. But as
Mm-hmm.
far as the rules and everything go, what do you think?
I think this is one of the more complicated armies that's out there because its identity is based on characters interacting with each other and your units. And so I think that this is going to be one of the harder ones to understand.
Okay.
And also, they've got a bunch of different profiles available to them on their guys.
And they just got the new
And also,
codex,
they've got
right?
a weird way to deploy. And yeah, it's yeah, they just got a new codex, brand new, fresh off, hot off the presses. I was gonna make some dumb joke, but I couldn't think of it. So hot off the presses it is.
There you go. Hot off the pressed hams.
Steamed hams.
There you go. Um, okay, so I think that's pretty much all of the kind of an overlook into the armies as far as if you're looking to get into one or if some was appealing to you or not, or like if you felt like the call of the orc, kind of what to look for as far as that goes. And if you're looking at more complex armies like the Gene Stealer Colts, you can well now a little bit more of the work that might go into learning about those armies. And so if I hope that found that kind of useful as far as that goes. Anything you can also can think of as far as like you know people looking to get into the hobby other than buy some pretty ass dice that you love because dice are fun.
Buy some very clear dice. I don't want to see any of that. If I see anybody that watches this show using dice that are unclear, I'm gonna sack tap you.
And
I'll do it.
by clear, he does not mean see through. He means easy to read.
Yeah,
by
they got to be
dice,
easy to read.
yeah, like because that is super frustrating when somebody's like, "Look at these dice," and you're like, "Where are the dots?" like, yeah, they're
They'd
pink
be
dots
like,
on a pink
"I rolled
dice.
10 sixes," and you'd be like, "Did you? I can't read your dice."
And not only that, being easy to read will help you go move through the game faster. Um,
It's true.
so definitely think about don't also consider getting smaller dice. Full size dice are nice and everything, but it's nice to be able to reach into a bag and pull out a million dice depending on what you're rocking for. So like,
Right.
yeah, because I like to recommend these fucking getting about like these like this size, like kind of like a um, smaller dice as opposed to your regular size dice, which would be something like that size. So smaller, tiny, yellow, different. No,
Depending on what your army is, you're gonna have to roll 80 dice sometimes.
it's true. And always bring backup dice, like even if you don't know. Also, dice can work really well as wound counters. They can work well as keeping track of your command points. So dice are just super useful tools to have when playing the game outside of just rolling them.
Yeah.
Um, and
You can
once you get
throw them at your opponent if
there, you go.
he's too impolite to you.
Get some metal ones for those motherfuckers.
And give it like a good heft as well.
Yeah.
You don't want to like toss it. That's you want to like
Whip it at
take
him.
them out. Yeah.
Oh, you got some Howling Banshee dice that are illegible, and you're like, I don't know what that is. Oh, that's the worst.
I better not see those dice.
Now, I think we did talk about not threatening the audience anymore, so I think we should
We
put that.
didn't talk about that.
We should
No,
talk
that's not
about
something
this.
that we
Okay,
talked about.
don't threaten the audience.
I've only threatened the audience of my show twice today, so
All right. Oh
you know,
yeah, but do you like the new name for the show? 40K Thursday,
yeah, it rolls off the tongue.
right?
I think that my name should probably be in there at least 6 or 7 times, but
Ferris Wheel's
it's
40K Ferris Thursday, wheeling every Thursday to Ferris Wheel. It's Ferris wheeled off with Ferris wheel. And that's a good line.
Logan wants you to check your texts so that he can
Oh,
make fun of me in private.
there we go.
You know, you could just make fun of me in the chat. You're
Oh
not
no,
gonna
he
make
sent
me
me a picture
you're
of
not gonna
these
make me kill
dice.
myself. It's
That is a fucking nightmare. Wait for it to. Are you kidding me? They all have the
hey,
same symbol with a
that's
tiny
pretty
little
good.
number written on the number. Yeah, I was actually surprised. This is a good webcam. But like,
The
yeah, the numbers are written inside the triangles. That is fucking rude. Like, that is
you know
just rude.
that white and red that would make for some sweet dice if it just had like the normal dots. Those would be very clear and excellent dice.
Yeah, if they were just the color. Oh, and
Yeah,
shout out to Alex Root of the Alex Root Convention. Happy birthday, dude! I know you're probably not watching, but it'll embarrass you, or somebody else will throw it at you later. Um, yeah, those dice, I cannot believe, like, that just seems like rude almost. Like, hey, it's this army specific dice that you
I've
love your
seen
army
some
for. Holy shit, I thought that was
terrible
a
ones.
4, but I can't tell if it's a 4 or a 2 or it's just fucked up the printing on it. It's a 4. Oh my god, the 4s are these are the worst dice ever. No, I'm kidding. I've seen actually worse. DC there. Oh. He's got commercials. It's one thing I can't wait to eventually get
Money from the commercials. That's
well,
what you
no,
can't wait to get.
I was gonna
Money
say
from those commercials.
well, yeah, that as well. Don't forget to subscribe with your free Amazon Prime subscription because it does lapse if you don't keep redoing it. So,
Subscription.
subscription, because I'm just subscribing a little bit off the top of Amazon.
Comment, and subscribe.
Subscribed. Yeah. Oh, this is what happens when you talk literally all day for a living. Every once in a while, your mouth is just like, oh. But
So
yeah.
your tongue gets tired, huh?
Oh, dude, my
Feel
whole
sorry for your wife. I think that it's important to make sure that your army has the tools that you need it to have.
yeah,
Like I was saying in, was it last episode,
yeah,
where you need to be able to kill hordes and knights and hold places on the board. That's important to think about when you're starting your army. Make sure that you have something that kills knights, kills hordes, and holds parts of the board.
there you go. So
Don't
basically,
just
go through the Orc Codex and make sure you can kill everything in it.
yeah, twice.
Twice.
Make sure you can kill 90 boys 14 times.
There you go. Um, but yeah, and that's another thing of recognizing the strength of your army, of how you're going to do that. If you want the more melee heavy army, do you have something that's going to be able to toe with the knight, or are you going to swarm over it with a bunch of things? Are you going to shoot it from afar? Are you just going to psychic and take away its invulns and just blow it to bits that way? Like, you gotta, are you going to bring your own knight and punch it to death, or just knight v knight in the, you know? And so that's something to think of when you're building your
I
when
pity
you're
the
diving
knight
in.
who sees me in the arena.
These
Yeah,
44-inch guns, literally guns.
it's important to read your codex very thoroughly and see what kind of tricks you can do, because most armies can do a lot of really neato burrito tricks, and the stratagems. It's kind of where a lot of the flavor comes from now for your army, and where uh, your tools that make you a unique and useful army are going to come from a lot of the time. So make sure to read very thoroughly. That's another thing if you're starting a new army.
Yeah, because I know I suffered a little bit from a just like instead of like I didn't buy the codex immediately. I was just kind of like looking at a few models because I received a very generous gift from you know, Hogan Works of the all of these models, and I was just looking at them, and I had no idea what I was looking at. But as soon as I bought a codex and started reading through it and getting excited about like the actual profiles and kind of learned more what I was looking at, I started to lose, but less badly. Because mostly, actually, I think of over half my games, if not near three-quarters, have been against this guy, and he wants you to learn, so he doesn't take it easy on you, which I appreciate. And I'm not being sarcastic at
Have
that when
three
I say that at
quarters
all.
of your games been against me? Is
They
that
really have, yeah. Like, because
huh?
almost every time when we would do the weekly game, I'd always get paired up with you. I got paired up with Alex like once, and then once with like I never got to
Oliver?
Oliver, but I never did actually get to play against Monty. Um,
But you played two games at that event. You can go
Oh
to
yeah.
another event and play 3 games,
Oh shit, you're right.
not get a buy.
But the buy was where I got all my points. No, I would actually like to
We
play
need
the games instead of
some
buy.
pressure on Ty to get him to go to events and play 3 games.
Well, it does make a far easier show content to go through.
Yeah.
Oh man, okay. Maybe next week we could go through helping me make my list a little more competitive with the new models that I got, which are amazing. I'm actually gonna show these off on stream because I wanted to show them off the other week, but I didn't get a chance to.
Look at those calves. That's really something. Press 1 in the chat if you want to lick Ty's calves. No homo.
I know you weren't expecting shorts, right? No, that's exactly what you're talking about, wasn't it? You son of a
No,
bitch.
not at
Okay,
all.
okay, good.
You can look at the VOD. You'll see.
Oh yeah, that'll be good. Oh man, can't wait for that surprise. So one of the things that I'm excited about and also trepidatious about is I got a Thunderfire cannon. This is let's see if I can find the actual picture of it on the rules. But this thing is really awesome as far as adding artillery and long distance um, heavy weapon firing to a Primaris army. And with my Salamander's reroll, I can actually get some decent mileage out of it, and there's no picture of it completely put together on the instructions. This is the closest it gets. So just imagine that part on the bottom part, and then you kind of get an idea. That and it
So
comes with
just
a.
use your imagination to think of what a Thunderfire cannon looks like.
I'm just gonna
Then
actually
you're done. Nice.
I'm gonna just pull up the model on again Warhammer Store real quick because that was wildly disappointing. There we go. So the Thunderfire cannon is freaking awesome. As you see, it also comes with this cool tech marine who can help keep my stuff alive as far as my my tanks, the Thunderfire cannon itself, and small German roll, please. Perfect. Boom! Storm Raven gunship. Boom! There it is. And so this
Boom.
thing is fantastic. It's one of the cooler flyers. I just want to help one of the cooler units out there, and I'm gonna take this shiny stuff off. It's ruining the shot. But this thing is pretty awesome. It's got like a billion jillion guns on it, and it can help get to troop transport as well. So it can help get my all of my flames where they need to go. Oh, look, the shine off the screen is making it invisible as they get closer. That's great. Okay, so it's just turning invisible. Like, oh, that's not okay. All right.
Well, that was cool.
I know, right?
I just saw it on the stream. Nice.
Yeah, yeah. For those, yeah, they have the 30K first book of the Horse Heresy background right now because that's where we were originally gonna talk about. Well, we will soon. I'm excited for that actually. All right, so
40K book club.
dude, I am down for the. What could we call it? No, never mind. That's a dangerous question. All right, so the.
I have an answer, but I shouldn't say it.
You
so.
really shouldn't. All right, and then so there's actually the Black Library books are fantastic. They just celebrated the anniversary of it, and you can actually I got a free book that day because I just happened to wander into the Warhammer store. It was a free book and some pins, and it was pretty nice. Oh, you're trying to think of another army, Hogan? I can't. I was trying to think of it. I can't think of anything else really. As we had, let's see. Let's go through it. We've got General. Oh, Librarian. Yes, he's already built though. Yeah, the Librarian, and he came with the bikes and everything. He is put together and looking fantastically amazing. I'll go ahead and get that box because, yeah, he's also one of my new favorites.
Until the new Librarian comes out, then he'll be shelved. Like Woody.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. Yeah, so this
There's
is the
a
Primaris
snake in my
Librarian.
boot.
He is freaking awesome because he has the helmet variation, which is the best and only variation anyone should ever build. Focus. There we go.
Yeah, I don't like the naked heads very much.
Well, it's like old man head, and then you gotta like getting the complexity of painting it is one thing, but like that helmet is just so freaking much cooler. I can't even like fathom the option of not having a helmet on. And also, I mean, let's face it, if we're taking it seriously. Why would you not wear a helmet in 40K? There's guns fucking everywhere.
Some people want to be shot in the head.
Not it. Not it. And no one in my army is going to be it either. That's
Nose
nice.
goes.
Um, let's see. I mean, I can see like Chaos like having their helmets off, like because they're like, "Ah," like all freaking crazy with it and everything. But like Primaris feel like, yeah, duh. Of course I'm gonna wear my helmet. I'm a dude who could get shot in the face. I don't want to get shot in the face. End of story. Like,
I'm a dude who doesn't want to get shot in the face. That's a little sexist. Don't you think women don't want to be shot in the face?
are there female Primaris yet?
No.
Oh, there you go.
No, it's just
Yeah, see, there you go. You screwed it up. Oh, actually, one army we forgot to talk about was uh, the new Adaptus Soritas, the lady army.
oh yeah, the lady army.
What have you gotten to see any bit about their rules? Have you gotten to see anybody kind of?
Fought some ladies the other day. I was not impressed by the ladies, which
Uh,
was disappointing.
yeah, I gotta say they did seem to be kind of weak in shooting, in hand-to-hand combat, in durability.
The ladies die very easily,
I mean,
which is kind of sexist of Games Workshop. Ladies don't die easily in real life. Nope, never mind.
so many jokes to put there.
But yeah, the ladies being toughness 3 and armor saves being so mediocre
Yeah,
in this edition makes it so that the ladies just they get cut
evaporate.
down. I charged some ladies with the Zangors, and then the Zangors wound on 3s because the Zangors are toughness and strength 4, even though they're little goat people,
They're pretty
and the
awesome.
ladies are only toughness and strength 3, so they
Ugh.
get wounded on 3s, and then minus 1 AP, so they're 50-50 to save, and then they die. And
So you've been trying out that army we built on the stream last time?
well, I was playing pure Thousand Suns, so
Oh,
I
okay.
had 50 Zangors to
Holy shit.
Zangorate people with.
Zangarate. That
Yeah,
sounds like a bad type of gin. You've heard of Tanqueray. Now Zangarate. Like,
it sounds it sounds like a procedure that you wouldn't want to go through.
oh man, I had to get my Zangarate done the other day.
Went into the doctor for a Zangoration.
I wouldn't
Uh,
recommend it. I wouldn't
uh,
recommend it.
Probably shouldn't go for that.
Oh man, he didn't even buy me dinner. No, so,
But
but have you been having? Have you thought about building the list that we did
I mean, I
put
have
together?
that army. I could just play it,
That's
but
true.
I haven't yet. Because I'm playing all these weird comp events. So it's like, no, there haven't been let off the chain recently as far as what army builds can be done.
Let's see. We'll have to figure out how. Maybe we could do a battle report one of these Thursdays, and you know, um, I don't know. Maybe we could even play a game one of these Thursdays on stream once we figure out how to. Once we figure out how to get the equipment to the tables, we'll probably look into getting
Right.
something like that because that sounds like it could actually be fun for a 40K Thursday.
It would be. But the thing that's hard about that is like explaining everything that's going on as well as getting good shots of like
Yeah.
dice and stuff
So yeah, we would need like
and like lapel mics.
five. Yeah, lav mics, about 4 different cameras to switch to because we'd have two. We'd have to roll in dice trays and have cameras on the
Yeah.
dice trays, and then at least two on the battlefield, and then what we
Well,
could
and
do
then you
is
also need somebody that's managing the cameras as well. Otherwise, you just have 5
this is true.
small little screens, and
Yeah,
that's
well,
no good.
yeah, that is also true.
Unless I don't know, you could put like the overall view
Yeah,
as like the main thing, and then have like the dice cam. And
yeah, I probably have the overall like I can actually set up scenes in an obs so that I can switch back and forth between different views. It would be pretty good. One person is the dedicated camera whore. Striking Scorpions are a very good channel for battle reports. Well, one thing we could do is we could play the game one Thursday and then kind of
Yeah,
explain it the next Thursday, so we wouldn't have to go to explaining every last detail of what was going on.
yeah. Well, it might be better to just record the game and then
That's true, and then kind of
commentate
comment
over
over
it.
it. Yeah, maybe we'll look into doing that because that way we can edit together, make an actual video out of it, and then release the video and then talk about it. So plans of things to come. And then if I ever get my chance to go visit Jeff, we can do some battle reports up there, record them, and talk about them. And same if he gets down here. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Get down. Nah, he was just here. I can't can't put too much pressure on him. Um, Let me see. Yeah, so I have some fun new toys to work into my army. So we'll figure out how to get them in there and what I'm gonna do with them exactly because I'm really excited to have the new fun things. And so with the added mobility, but still want to keep it around 2,000 points because most competitions are around 2,000 points. Is that correct, or am I just pulling that out of nowhere?
Yeah, usually.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So when you're building an army, if you want to do kind of more local competitions and not going for like hours and hours long games, try to build something around 2,000 points. I guess that's something we should talk about when we were talking about list building last time and what to look for and what things like that. Point values of things become really important when you're looking in a competitive scene. So try to keep around 2,000 points because or else you'll buy all these cool things, have a really fun army that no one wants to play you against because you have like I don't know. They
No
don't.
one wants to play 5K points.
Well, I do, but like we don't have the time.
Do
Is the
you
problem
though?
thing? I do. I could play a five k
You don't
point
think
game.
you'd get tired?
Oh no, no. Like it's something you'd have to be mentally like going into, be ready for, like knowing that you're gonna take a lunch break in the game.
Sure,
But like
sure.
I think it could still be fun depending on the army that you build. If you weren't like ecstatic about your army, I could see it getting a little like, okay, well that didn't work like 4 hours ago, and it's still not working, and I'm just like you built your army to do something and it's just not working out for you. I could see
Yeah.
that kind of being a
All
pain.
my cool shit died 3 hours ago, and I'm just trying to get as many points as I can.
Yeah, like I could see that being a
It's a
little
real
frustrating.
slog.
That's the beautiful thing about everything in life. You can give up if you want to. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Even life itself.
Oh man, we do not advocate giving up. Let's see.
No, no, I'm about giving up.
Oh, okay. Never
If
mind.
if you want to quit, go ahead and just do it.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Other than that, we do. Let's see. We got the new layout, which I was pretty excited about, and we'll keep doing for now. As long as it keeps working well. Anything you're building and working on right now that you want to talk about, or
Um,
I know the weekly thing it gets a little weird, doesn't it?
well, I actually think that like we I think we kind of go into these topics with the wrong attitude because it's like, well, if we pick this general thing, there's going to be plenty to say, and
Yeah,
I
no,
don't,
it's
and I
just
don't,
way too wide.
yeah, yeah, I don't think that that's. We need to be doing like this week. We talk about the best stuff in this book, and then
Okay.
we like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So I mean,
The
that's part
like
of the doing
the
this is
laser
learning.
focus is, I think, is what helps
Okay.
more, and then we can communicate more information about specific things, anyways.
That makes sense. And like so that was eventually where I kind of wanted to build towards. I was just kind of we're we were experimenting out, of course, with the format and
Yeah,
everything. And so for right now, it's been like trying to keep it a little more general, just
yeah.
to see what we could talk about. But yeah, we'll definitely be getting into more specific things. Do you have anything that you feel confident for next week? We can kind of tease that you'd want to get into, like maybe dive into a specific codex, dive into a specific like stratagems or anything, or like maybe a unit type, like do like an infantry or
Sure. I mean, I think we can go in depth on any codex. I feel confident about talking about anything. Well, at least the
okay,
best stuff in any book. I'm familiar with the stuff that people are going to use against me at events and things like that. So
okay,
I feel confident talking about strong things for sure,
okay.
uh, and
So
how those either communicate flavor or do not communicate flavor.
what do you think? Episode one. Start with the episode
Yeah,
one
we could go
as far as deep
deep.
dives.
deep on the Space Marines.
Perfect. So next episode, we're gonna do a deep dive on Space Marines. I'm gonna cover this up because it's backwards on the stream. Deep dive on Space Marines. I wonder if I can turn that around. Hold on. Mouse. Nope, I can't. Okay.
I like how sometimes you can see the background through the book, just like random flashes
Right.
of it. That's pretty neat.
Actually, I wonder if I could.
But if you want us to talk about an army,
There. Now it looks right. Just flipped it. But
tweet at Hitchhiker of the Mind
right up here, this one. Tweet
and
at
ask
Hitchhiker.
him
Yeah.
to talk about it, and we'll talk about it.
Oh yeah, we'll
My
deep dive
secretary,
anything.
Hitch, will make sure that our show, which is my show, but
Oh damn! I was feeling so included there for a second.
we'll make sure that we get you any answers you want to know. Obviously, that offer is just open all the time. We can
Yeah.
go deep on any army you want. Talk about things from the competitive side of things and how the tabletop flavor translates to the flavor of the books.
Yeah, and if you guys
Yeah.
don't recommend anything, I'm just gonna make him explain all my armies even better to me because I love getting this information. I'm not even gonna lie. So we'll start with Space Marines, the codex that you see here. I have to turn it
Or
because it
we'll
keeps
be
turning
doing
clear.
Primarchs, 30k Primarchs. Isn't
Uh,
that
it's either
the
we're
other
either gonna
thing that
do
it could
this
be?
or it could be we're gonna be doing kind of a more lore dive. We're gonna bring in Hogan works for that one for doing a lore dive on Primarch's 30k because he's actually been following the lore long enough that he knows pretty much every change that has been done to the
Sure,
like the
sure.
story. So he has the
That
kind
sounds
of a
pretty cool.
unique perspective on it, which I thought was pretty. I think you guys are really gonna enjoy for sure. I know I enjoy. I can listen to him talk about lore for literally hours and have done for hours before, and I think you guys will really enjoy it too.
Are
Um,
we just doing lore, or are we doing lore and
we're
how
gonna
it
do
bridges to the tabletop,
we're gonna
or what?
do Lauren and then how it kind of and some things that do translate to the tabletop. So it'll be
Because
kind of a combination.
yeah, well, I'd be happy to cover the how it's communicated because I'm super familiar with all of the Primarch rules and everything. So
Perfect. And then
if that's what we're doing, then
let's see.
yeah, I'd
Well,
be
do we want
happy
to
with
go
that.
into the 30k system as well, or is that going to be too much? You know
I
what?
mean, we can
We
speak in
could.
generalities.
Okay, we'll do general rules and stuff for the and how they translate. So we'll do a kind of a tricast next time. I'll try it for the first time, hopefully. We'll get Jeff here on lore, me on questions. I'm so useful, and then you with the tabletop translations and see how that works out. Other than that, it's going to be about 8:30. I know we did start a little late today, but actually, I guess we started pretty much on time for which we ended up being doing. But
No, you started at 7,
yeah,
didn't we? Yeah, we did it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We
Like
even
no,
started early, I
yeah, I
think.
know. Like normal. I
Well,
with
I thought the discussion was 7:30, but
yeah. Well, I wanted
whatever.
to put it around like would 7:30 work better for you, or I know you
Well, I
were
mean,
forcing to eat you
I
eight
can
hours
make it
straight.
work. It's
Okay.
as long as the chewing isn't too annoying.
No, you're good as
And
far
you
as
know
that
what?
goes.
I could address that as well. I can just mute my mic or whatever.
There
But
you go. All right, perfect. So, until next time, everybody, we appreciate you hanging out with us on 40K Thursday. That's right, I'm making it stick. It's going to happen. And we'll catch you next Thursday here on the Hitchhiker of the Guide Twitch channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe above. And with your Twitch pram. And we'll
tweet at
tweet at me.
Hitchhiker's Mind.
Yes, definitely freaking tweet at me. It's above Ferris's head. Yeah,
I
at
think I did
Hitch.
it.
Yeah, you did.
No,
You're
I
pretty good.
kind of did
Pretty
it.
good.
Close
Yeah,
enough.
close enough. At Hitchhiker Mind, we'll go into any army and deep dive their codex after we do our loregasm cast next time. So we'll talk at you soon. Bye, everybody. Wave goodbye to the nice people. Ferris.
I pieced and finger guns
Oh, damn.
and
Okay. You're on it.
like we'll do whatever needs to be done.
All right. Perfect. Later, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.